think it's significant. Not a lot of mid-majors across the country get to play a home game against a Power 5 program, especially one that's been as traditionally successful as Conzo's Missouri team. So I think it's significant. I think it came about because of a relationship with Coach Martin and Jim Sturk, their previous AD. And, we made the agreement at the beginning stages of the pandemic. So just thankful that, Coach stuck to it and decided to come play. Now I suffer from a little bit of regret because it's another really difficult opponent for us.
John?
Coach, as you talked about throughout the beginning of the season, your team's a work in progress. You're not worried about an at-large bid. Or you're just trying to prepare and build and grow as the season goes on. With having an SEC team, a Power 5 team come in, first time one of those ever played at Missouri, do you worry at all with 8 of 13 underclassmen on your roster looking to make the moment bigger than it is, or just trying to make sure that they stay locked into the details and focus on their assignment at hand?
Yeah, fair question, John. I don't know the answer. I can tell you, the way we try and shape culture or develop culture is to focus on the day at hand. What you do every day is more important than what you do every once in a while. We'd be naive to think that our guys won't be excited, sold out crowd, Missouri coming to town, and a lot of inexperience. But again, I feel like it's just another opportunity to get better, and win or lose, this game really doesn't have much an effect on what we hope that happens at the end of the year in terms of postseason. Could it help? Absolutely. Unlike a lot of games, I don't, unless we play horrifically and they just completely dominate us, the downside would be minimal because you're playing against a team that's going to force you to get better. And again, I would say this to you guys, it's college basketball. Like this, I think one of the difficulties for people who are passionate about their different institution is the transition from football to basketball. In football, they play once a week, and they get 12 regular season games. In basketball, anything can happen, and we get usually 2 to 3 games a week, and there's 30 during a season. So I watched last night, probably my 150th game. 1 in 5 Arlington went into Santa Barbara, who's I think they were top 15 in the mid-major poll, and they beat them. And Santa Barbara's 4-1. Like it's so unpredictable. How does Dayton lose their first 3 games at home and then turn around and win the ESPN Disney Classic? So I just really want to keep our guys focused on the task at hand, and that's getting better today. And hopefully by Thursday, we'll have enough confidence going in to have a chance against a really good Missouri team.
Matthew? Go ahead,
Speaking
John.
of, sorry to interrupt, but I was just wanting to comment on that. Speaking of all the basketball games you've watched, what does Mrs. McKay think about that in ESPN Plus?
Has she DM'd you or something, John? Stay out of my business, man. I have a great wife. She's very supportive, and I'm working when I'm watching these games.
Matthew?
Yeah, just given the amount of turnover on Mizzou's roster from last year, what can you take from playing them a season ago?
They're completely different. Now, Kobe Brown is playing at a really high level on both ends of the floor, and really is the engine that drives that car. But they've got so many different supporting casts. I think it's just a matter of time for them, having 3 transfers that play a really significant role in number of minutes for them. Maybe it's 4. But I think they're starting to get better. You can see it when they don't self-inflict. They're really good, and that's true about our team as well. So what I know about Missouri, they'll play incredibly hard. They'll be really physical, and they'll crash the glass and share the ball. And those are markers or characteristics of a Conzo Martin coach team, and you'll see that Thursday.
M, you have anything?
Sorry, I'm all over the place over here. For 500, Coach, shooting slumps are just part of basketball. What kind of conversations, if any, do you have with Darius McGee when you kind of get in a rut?
I haven't had any conversations with Darius. I trust him. This is my 4th year with him. I'll go back to he had in the summer of his senior year playing for Team Loaded, I went to each one of his games. I think he made 2 of his first 28 threes in the summer. And they had Jaden Gardner, Landers Nolly. They had like 7 Division I players on that team. And I called him in between the weekends, and I said, hey, man, keep shooting. I still believe in you. He had a similar stretch his freshman year, and I said the same thing to him. I've seen enough of Darius McGee's shots to go in that I'm worried this much about Darius McGee's field goal percentage.
As a follow-up to that, the way they're defending him, and you alluded to this Saturday night, is making sure those other guys get involved, especially when it's 4-on-3 with the way they're pushing Darius off the line. How have you seen him adjust to being pushed so far off the line that now dribble penetration is an option for him, and also kicking it to guys who can swing it around and turn a good shot to a great one?
Yeah, Dame, fair question. Look, LSU tried to take the ball out of Darius's hands, and when we took care of it, we got great shots behind it and made them. When we didn't take care of it, they got great shots at the other end and were scoring against no defense. So anyone that wants to do that, great. Like, we don't mind. That responsibility of taking care of the ball is on us because we have guys behind it that can play with numbers. So I think our guys, especially the freshmen, with each game they get more and more confident. And the more or the better we take care of the ball, the greater opportunity for us to get a good shot will happen.
John?
Coach, I wanted to ask you about Isaiah Warfield. I believe by some services he's still the highest rated recruit to ever sign at Liberty, and we know his minutes last year were spare, and this year he's gotten a chance when he's gotten an opportunity. He's one of the first guys that's jumping on the floor, diving after loose balls, and just providing a lot of energy off the bench, it seems. Is that something that you're seeing in him every day in practice? And what does he bring into this team right now, just his second year in the program?
Yeah, John, another astute observation. I wish all the members of the media. No, I'm just kidding. Matt, I'm just kidding. Like, I don't. I'm really proud of Isaiah. I think there was a juncture in his tenure here that he felt like the door of opportunity was closing or maybe even shut. And he never quit. He never gave up. He handled and responded to that perception incredibly well. And what it's done for him is inspired or invoked a belief in his teammates and from his coaching staff that, man, he adds a ton of value. You hit the nail on the head. He's playing with great energy and emotion, and it's really making our team better. And I think he's deserving of more minutes. And as we search to find a rotation, or I search to find a consistency of rotation, and I think it's going to be a work in progress because we have a lot of good players. But I'm really, really proud of Isaiah. And I'll say this too, it speaks to the influence that his circle has on him. Mom and dad, friends, family, he's really been a bright spot for us.
And you brought this up Saturday, how you look at Zay, Van Zandt, and Shiloh, their strengths are on defense. And when you lose like a Lavelle Cabo and you have Elijah Cuffey in the wings, and then Cuffey graduates. How pleased are you that you have a Warfield who learned from Cuffey, and then Ben Zandt who came in as a strong defender, and Shiloh who's improving as a defender, so that way you have multiple options that you can throw out there?
Yeah, it's a luxury when you have versatility on offense, but also defensively. And those guys that you mentioned, Dame, Isaiah, Joseph, and Shiloh, certainly have some defensive versatility. Look, the pack line defense is a hard scheme. You get better the longer you're in it. And this is not an excuse. I'll preface that. The reality of our deal is we have 8 freshmen. Like we really do. And I know Isaiah, Micaiah, Drake, and who am I missing? And Jonathan can be listed as sophomores in the books, but they didn't get great minutes last year. They did not play in front of crowds last year, and the minutes that they got, I'm not sure they were in significant enough moments in games, other than Micaiah early and Drake some, that it would give them the benefit of the doubt. So I'm happy with where we're going, especially those 3 on the defensive end, but I even think it's going to be better towards the end of the year and beyond.
Matt or M, you have anything?
Yeah, I know one of the big things we talked about before the year was, you had such veteran point guards. The last really 5 years has been 2 guys or whatever. How would this team react to that? You've said a number of times, when we don't turn the ball over, we're good. Where are you with kind of that situation, the point guard? Obviously, you're asking Darius to do more handling the basketball right now. 6 games in, is this the situation you thought you would be in? Did you see one of the younger guys stepping up and taking on more of a role there? Kind of assess the ball handling situation, I guess, at this point.
Yeah, well, considering our rank is like 240-some turnover rate, I would say we're still trying to find ourselves that way. When we asked Darius to be the point guard, you're taking away some of what he does best, and that's moving off the ball. When you ask Kyle Rowe to do it, you're taking away from some of the stuff that he does best. But to be a point guard, I really measure it in 2 ways. Number 1, are you impacting or influencing winning? And number 2, do you make everyone else around you better? And we still are a work in progress there. I mean, that's just the real. Do I think it's trending in the right direction? Yes. Am I old enough in this to know that it's a process? Absolutely. That doesn't take away my competitiveness or my desire to get the outcome that we want. But I think this version of our team will look differently in late January and early February, and I'm trying to keep that in perspective.
M?
Coach, last one for me. After having, such a veteran group just a couple years ago, like even in timeouts, just seeing you kind of cool, calm, and collected. Not saying that you're not now. You're very calm and collected in your timeout still. But does your message, on or off the court with these guys or, in the locker room, does your message, and I know it's a little harder to have patience when it's a younger group and you guys are turning the ball over, but how does your message or style of coaching change with such a young group, if any?
Yeah, I haven't thought about that, Emily. Really, really interesting question. I think I learned this early in my career, but didn't apply it until maybe later on. If you're going to be in coaching, you gotta number 1, be yourself, and you gotta number 2, realize that you're not going to please everyone. And I really try and fight for a true identity, and I trust our guys. Again, we're not exempt from mistakes or turnovers or what have you, but I do think we have a compliant group that really desires to get better. So I want to model for them trust and authenticity in our relationship, and not make it conditional or blow up or like that. Really never helps anyone, especially on game day. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I'm sure it's warranted, but I was around Tony Bennett for 6 years, and he rarely gets discombobulated with the circumstance of a game or